Hello from the Cannon Academy Homeschool. My name is Venus Cannon, and I am a homeschool grandmother at this point. And today I wanted to go over different things that we use in a regular school day. Some days I have 2 children, and some days I have 3. I am homeschooling my youngest 2 grandchildren, who are 3.5, soon to be 4, and 5.5. Not 6 till November. And then I am also homeschooling 2 days a week my great-grandson, who is 5.5 and will be 6 in July. Actually, my 3.5-year-old grandson will be 4 in July. I think I said June, but I meant July. So, my apologies for that. So, a normal day for us starts out with they play for a few minutes, unless they're here early enough for breakfast, which they would then have breakfast, and then we would let them play for a little bit. Then we would go on to what I call chart time. And chart time can be anything from, I used to have a wall calendar I set up on the wall and put little square numbers on each day and let the kids do that. I have packed it away, and I'm still looking for that. So calendar time now consists of this, which I ran blank copies of years ago, and every month I just write in the month and the year. We are learning to say 2021 and 2021. I circled the beginning date of the month and the last date of the month, so that when I ask how many days in the month there are, they can immediately look and see what the last number is. We go over the days of the week. We go over what day it is. Like, for instance, today is Sunday, the 23rd of May. Yesterday was the 22nd. Tomorrow will be the 24th. Today is Sunday. Yesterday was Saturday. Tomorrow is Monday. This helps give them a little bit of perspective. We might also go over the alphabet chart, in which I have underlined the vowels. So we will go back over those along with sounds. And then we will use a number chart. This is my portable number chart. I have one that has colors on it, posted back here behind me on the back side of a shelf. And they can look at that at any time they want. So we do that. The 2 youngest ones have been with me for a couple of years now, and so the oldest one of those 2 can count well over 1,000 now. Her father works with her at home on that too. The youngest one just started counting to 100 with some help. Then my great-grandson, he had not had a lot of school. It was virtual learning this year, and it got to be sort of a mess and everything, because he was also learning how to use the computer at the same time and things. They got away from that and did a few workbooks here and there, and now he's with us, and we are getting him up to speed on everything, and he is quickly catching on. Something else the kids like to play with, and it helps them with their writing, is this cool little board that I found that was cut out. And they can take their fingers or this wooden stylus and trace the letters. So that's pretty cool. All of that takes about 5 minutes. Then my youngest grandson loves to have geography. And we have these little placemats that I purchased from yard sales over the years. And I am happy to say that while the other 2 really aren't too interested in geography, but they will participate, the little 3.5-year-old, he can show you the 5 Great Lakes, and he can almost name them. He can show you Mimal, which is Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana. If you look closely, here is Mimal's hat. Here's his head, there's his nose. Here's his body, here's his pants, and then Louisiana is his boots. So it makes sense. My son told me about that years ago, and I started teaching my daughter and his granddaughters about MIMO. Now, I know that the Panhandle State is actually Florida. We call it the net because it looks like a net to us with a handle. We say that Oklahoma looks like a pan or a pot. They can pick those states out. They can pick out that we live in Indiana and it's just under this Lake Michigan. They know our neighbors to the north are Canada, our neighbors to the bottom are Mexico. They know Alaska is up at the top of the United States out in Canada. They know Hawaii goes out into the, this way. I'm sorry, I'm backwards. Goes out this way to the Pacific. So actually Alaska would be up here. Sorry, I'm used to looking at the map facing me. I have another, on the back of it, there are the continents. We're learning those as well, and learning the North and South Pole. We are also learning about our compass rose, which is on this side of the map here, and on the world map here. This is another one that shows capitals in each state in the United States, and we are slowly learning where those capitals are. I'm not too worried because they are all very young. That takes about another 5 minutes. In between, they're playing. Then we have reading, and we have, each child gets to read stories to me individually, while the other one or two, given the day, play with something like puzzles or books or something quiet. I do all of this in my living room. As you can see, this is part of my living room. Now, we use vintage Ginn basic readers. This is the first pre-primer, my little red storybook. It has Tom, Betty, Susan. It has Kathy, Nancy, and Bob, and Flip and Jip. It's very simple, sight word reading. They use the same words over and over. Now, my great-grandson just started in this book, and he is about halfway through already. As you can see, it's not a very thick book. There are anywhere from 1 sentence to 5 or 6 sentences a page as they move on through the book, and the stories become anywhere from 3 2-sentence stories to 3 or 4 pages of 5 or 6 stories. This is the next one, my little green storybook. Now, my youngest grandson is in this book, and he is clear back on page 37. So he is more than halfway through his book. He will move on to my little blue storybook shortly, probably in the next week. This one is the third pre-primer. As you can see, the stories are longer. My youngest granddaughter has finished all 3 of those books, and she is now in the primer, The Little White House. It still involves the same children, the same families. The stories started out fairly short, and they will work their ways up. There will also be some stories further back in the book that are make-believe and stuff like that that have nothing to do with these children. That's great. Another book that we use, and you can find this one anywhere. Those other books I just showed you, you can find them on eBay and Amazon sometimes for a price. This one is usually about $10 to $15. Ultimate Dick and Jane, Dick, Jane, Baby Sally, Susan. And again, they start out with simple little sentences, and you work your way up to the longer stories. Most of the same words are in this book that you find in the other books, and it's just repetitive sight words. I do use some sounding out. Now we also use picked on Phonics books. This is one of them. They're really simple. All three children are reading these two. The pages, they're not colorful, but they're very simple, and they're like rhyming words and things that they know, building up on it. From there, we're also doing these Houghton Mifflin Watch Me Read books, or you might call them Invitations to Literacy. They tell you on the back, this is a kindergarten 7th booklet. This is Pig Pals, very colorful pictures, simple sentences. They put in words, pictures for words that children might not know. So each child does that. That's about 5 minutes. Some days we work all together, and they each have their own workbooks. The youngest has the pre-K to kindergarten Summer Bridges right now. He will be finished with this in about a week. The youngest granddaughter, she is in the K to 1. She will be finished in about a week. And then my great-grandson, he just started this book. It's Kindergarten Fun, ages 5 to 6. And he is already, he comes 2 days a week. So I've actually had him 10 days in the last 5 weeks. And he is already on page 121 when he comes back this week. So I think that's pretty good. Some days the kids don't want to stop working, and I let them work for a while until I think we need a break. Some days I work with them individually, just to make sure we're up to speed. They all have these cards that help them because we're learning how to use the number lines. They can refer to this on how to write their letters and their numbers. Then we also do, I found this at an auction, an educational auction, and I got it for $1, not 20. And I print out these little pages, and we're doing them. And yes, they are pre-K, but it's still going to be about the same even for kindergarten level. And that's for science. I also have this science book. It's first grade level, I believe. And I read to them out of it. We talk about the pictures, and they answer questions that I ask out loud. Then I was lucky enough to get a whole set of these Houghton Mifflin Social Studies books. This is the first grade one. We already did the kindergarten one last year. And it has very interesting stories in it. We're learning about our community right now and families. And again, they answer the questions. I keep the questions simple. The ones in the books are fairly simple. And then my youngest grandson brought this over because, like I said, he's into geography. So we have all of these really cool maps that we're going to be looking over and talking about in the next few days. I have a big floor map that an uncle of mine gave me several years ago. Now, for science and social studies, we spend about 15 minutes. We do that as a group, whether it's 2 children or 3 children. We might do flashcards for different things. I have matching games for these things too. The children like to play with, so we will do stuff like that, and lacing and beadwork and things. We also do obstacle courses outside with hoops and cones and tubes to climb through. And I have these cute little yoga cards that the owner of the dance studio I was working at before she had to close it this year due to COVID gave me, along with some exercises and things like jumping jacks and things I can hold up. So basically we do about an hour, maybe 2 tops of instruction, and it's split up in 5 to 15 minute increments. And this is about the way it is for me from preschool through at least 2nd grade. 3rd through 5th grade, it gets a little longer, but we still take a lot of breaks where they have free time to read whatever they want or knit or draw or whatever their interest is. So I hope you found this interesting, and if you did, please like and subscribe below. Feel free to share it. Thank you.